go by your name. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get the press conference started. For those on Zooms, as a reminder, make sure to raise your hand as we get to the Zoom portion of the press conference. And when you do ask your questions, please make sure to state your name and affiliations. With us today, we have Wendell Moore Jr., Paolo Banchero, and Mark Williams. Questions?
This is for Wendell, Luke Decock, Raleigh News and Observer. Since Saturday night, what has kind of this week been like for you guys in practice? And you guys talked Saturday night about needing kind of hard practices to get your defense readjusted. Do you feel like you got that, and how hard were they?
Oh, yeah, so this week for us was a great week of practice. It's been a huge week, mainly focused on the defensive end, so getting more pressure on the ball, forcing a lot of live ball turnovers, just so we can get, really get into our offense easier. So it's been a great week. I definitely feel like our guys got better, and also we got a lot closer this week.
Follow-up.
David Thompson, USA Today Network. This is a question for all three of you. There's been so much going on this season, a lot of pressure. How do you guys deal with the mental health aspect of this, and what are things you do together or individually off the court to sort of combat that?
Mark, can you take that one first?
Yeah. As far as me personally, I think, as the year has gone on, I think just, using that pressure to our advantage. Obviously, it's an opportunity a lot of people don't get to play, with the season and, goals as high as we have them. So just for me personally, just, utilizing that and, using it to my advantage and then preparing for every game, similarly, don't let the highs get too high, don't get the lows get too low.
David Hale with ESPN. I know you guys have talked at various points about sort of wanting to send Coach K out the right way and what, you feel like you owe his legacy here. At each point, you've sort of said, well, this is his last game at Cameron. This is his last ACC tournament game. You knew when the last was going to be. Does it almost help not to know when the last might be until you get to the very end here and to sort of set aside the emotion from it, from the just going out and playing a basketball game?
Paolo, you want to take that one?
Well, I think now it's our last game as a group, so, that's really our mentality is we're not trying to end our season any shorter than it has to. As a group, we all like being around each other. We've been working hard since June. We know how much work in the preseason and just all year we've put in to get to March Madness. So, that's really our motivation. Is to come out and every game is a championship game and to win in advance. So that's really just all we've been thinking about.
Aaron Beard with the AP. This is for Wendell. Not a lot of guys have tournament experience on this group, and you're the older guy here. How valuable is it to have a coach in a broad sense that's been in the tournament when you don't have that player's experience that maybe as a comfort or they can prepare you, they can prepare you because they've seen just about everything in the tournament?
Even for myself, I don't have any tournament experience myself. So just having Coach really just lead us through it all. It's been great, because he knows what to do. He's been here more than anybody. He's failed, he's had success, so he knows the ins and outs of everything. So really just listen to everything he says and really just using it to get closer as a group. I feel like the closer we are as a group, the harder we're going to be able to be beat as a team.
In the back.
Mike Toper from Spectrum News 1 in Raleigh. This one's for Mark. You guys have a pretty sizable advantage when it comes to your length on the floor. How do you plan to take advantage of Fullerton tomorrow with some of your size?
Obviously on the defensive end for us, I just want to play really active, cause turnovers, speed them up, play at our pace. And obviously that'll lead into transition into offense for us and, utilizing that for us and playing together. It's honestly what it'll come down to, just playing together on both ends of the floor.
This is for Wendell. Danny Harnden from Fox 8 TV in Greensboro. Over the last few weeks, you guys have been in settings like this where you don't get the specific question, but people ask, what's wrong with Duke, and sometimes Coach K interrupts and go, come on, they're 28-6, and does those kind of questions make you laugh or angry or fire you up when you hear what's wrong with Duke? Kind of general questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's more. It definitely makes us laugh a little bit because we only get those questions when we do something wrong. But I mean, when we do something right, it's never what's going well for Duke. So for us, we always want to stay in that middle mindset. I mean, whether it's going well or it's going good, we know who we are and we know who we can be.
Next up.
Paolo, this is Steve Wiseman from the Raleigh News and Observer. Paolo, you guys played really strong defense early in the season. I think Gonzaga, games like that, you guys played really well. The last couple of weeks, teams have been scoring easier on you. What have you seen? What have you seen in your play? What have you seen in the team that you guys are trying to correct and get better as you go into this tournament?
I really just think, really overall, it was a mindset for us that we had early in the year. Just trying to having something to prove, and then just overall, just our communication hasn't been as good as it was early in the year, and that was just a big thing, in practice that we were stressing during the week is everybody got to be talking, everybody got to be loud, commanding each other, holding each other accountable. Because I feel like we got away from that later in the year, and it showed just on the defensive end with our defensive intensity and stuff like that. And so yeah, I mean, we watched a lot of film. We know what we did wrong, and we're not looking to make those mistakes anymore.
Paolo?
This question is for all three of you guys. Brendan Marks from The Athletic. Obviously, this has been a long season, and coaches lauded regular season ACC champs, have some great wins. Compared to where you were at the beginning of the year, what is the area that you think you guys have improved in the most? And maybe that's over the last week, but just over the course of the whole year, how close are you to the team that you thought you could be?
Mark, you want to take that one?
I mean, obviously, the more you play, I think that's just the more chemistry you'll get. I think that just comes with, just playing with each other all year. Obviously, I think, we've definitely grown as a team. With the wins and the losses, I think, we've become more together. And I think, with the tournament, it's honestly like the time you have to be the most together. It's not going to be a smooth ride. We're going to face adversity. Teams are going to make runs, things like that. So just being able to, embrace all that, come together and, do whatever it takes to win will be the biggest thing for us. But as far as the year goes, I think we've definitely grown in that aspect.
Lauren Walsh from WXII in Winston-Salem. So many Duke teams have made great memories, historical moments in this tournament. What do you think distinguishes this Duke team and what you guys can do in the tournament?
Wendell?
I think what distinguishes us is that we feel like we haven't reached our full potential yet. And the thing is, we're playing some really good basketball right now, and we only feel like every time we step on the floor, we can get better. We haven't reached nearly as good a team we can be yet, and we've seen glimpses of it. So hopefully this week we're able to put it all together and make a run here.
Right back there.
Chapel Fowler, USA Today Network. This one's for Paolo. You tweeted about being a ball boy at the 2015 tournament, I think, in Seattle. What do you remember about that experience?
What do I remember? I remember getting dropped off in like the back, walking in there, walking past like the team buses, seeing all the teams. It was Gonzaga and Iowa playing. And yeah, I remember just being locked in the whole game. I remember being nervous because I knew like if somebody fell, I had to go wipe the floor, and I was scared to go out there like in front of all the people. But no, I was just doing everything, being a ball boy, handing refs water, just all that stuff. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and so to be here is cool.
All right, we got a Zoom question. Christopher, if you could mute yourself. Christopher.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, this is Chris Heidel from Herberthan Radio in Baltimore. I know you guys had a tough loss in the ACC championship. What do you guys have to do to improve on that to keep you guys rolling throughout the tournament and make this a fantastic season for Coach K?
All right, Mark, you want to take that one?
Yeah. I think for us to grow from that game is just going to be our defensive intensity. I think, times throughout that game, we didn't make those hustle plays, didn't make, you know, the right decisions, and we didn't communicate at the level we should have. And I mean, now I think, you know, us doing that is going to be really important for us, and that'll, you know, that'll just cause us, you know, to all the offensive end to get going, transition, and then obviously defense at that level will make it tough for the offense. So.
All right, got another Zoom question. Jason, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hey, Jason Jordan from Sports Illustrated. This question's for Wendell. Talk about I don't want to say emergence because he's played strong all year, but Jeremy Roach has kind of elevated his play in the last 4 games specifically. I know that's not a shock to any of you guys because you see what he does daily in practice. Wendell, as a captain, what were some of your conversations with him, you know, when he went from starting to coming off the bench, and what were you guys' conversations like? And just talk about his emergence over the last 4 games.
Yeah, so Jeremy and I are really close. So, I mean, the conversations with us is pretty easy. It's more like just always stay ready. I mean, for me, it's never get too high, never get too low. You always want to stay right in that medium. Yeah, I mean, because when you're in that medium, then you're in a great headspace. I feel like if you're in a great headspace, then you're really able to do whatever you want to do. In these past 4 games, he's been in a really great headspace. He's done a good job running our team offensively. The defensive pressure he puts on is great. And he's become a really great shooter for sure these past 4 or 5 games. And he's given us a boost. So every time he steps on the floor, we notice it. We notice his energy. So just all that all together has just made us a better team in these past 4 to 5 games.
We got time for one more question in here. Does anybody have a question? All right, one more down here. Final question.
Wendell, this is your 3rd season at Duke and first tournament for you. Like, is there a sense of like, finally I get a chance to do this? Like, is there any sense of that, or is it just excitement? Is it relief? Like, what is it for you 3 years in?
I mean, it's a little bit of everything, honestly. I mean, it kind of feels like I'm kind of like a freshman again, just kind of in some sorts. I mean, it's been a lifelong dream for all of us since we were probably able to pick up a basketball. And I know for me, growing up in Carolina, I've watched every single Duke game in the NCAA Tournament I could. So just getting a chance to be on this stage with these guys right here, it means the world to me.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Remember, the recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts will be provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Hey, Coach. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. As a reminder, for those on Zooms, if you have a question as we get into the Zoom portion of the press conference, make sure to raise your hand. And if you ask a question in this room, please make sure to give your name and affiliation. Coach, could you give an opening statement?
Yeah, well, we're excited. We've had a good week of practice. We're healthy and ready to go.
Questions?
Hey, Mike. Luke DeCock, Raleigh News and Observer. Asked Wendell the same thing. You guys talked after Saturday about defense and using this sort of week to get that dialed back in. Do you feel like you got out of that time what you wanted to get out of it?
Yeah, we've had 3 really good days of practice and hard, really very enthusiastic. The guys seem fresher, you know, since we clinched the regular season against Pitt and played those 3 road games in 6 days. We kind of stepped back a little bit, and then we haven't played well since. And spurts, yeah, just in spurts. But also during that period, we weren't able to practice at the level. And with a young team, you get back to old habits real quick. And this week was more of reaffirming our good habits And again, guys have worked hard. I mean, they've been really good this week. And today, you know, we actually used the 40 minutes as our workout. We had our scouting report this morning. Nolan did that, and then we went to Furman and did our walkthrough, and then we'll try to have 40 minutes of good energy here to get accustomed to the court.
Aaron?
Hey, Mike. Aaron Beard with the AP. You don't have a lot of tournament experience among the players.
Yeah.
How much can a coach's experience help players when you're in the NCAA tournament? You're not out there playing, but you've seen and know what to expect. How much can that help them, you think?
Yeah, it's not so much. It's more like how to be prepared for it and use your excitement in a positive way, shared enthusiasm, shared excitement, and not make it like, remember, it's one and done. You know, that, you know, I'm not sure anyone completely realizes it's one and done until it's done. And so you can spend too much time on that. So it's been very upbeat. Yeah, the main thing is just to try to be who we've been most of the season, but at the highest level. And then one game, we look at it as the opportunity on tomorrow night. We play a championship game tomorrow night. And then if we win it, we'll get an opportunity to play in another one. And just to look at it, it's not just one game at a time. It's one championship at a time. Because if you don't win it, you're not going to win a championship.
In the back.
Mike Toper from Spectrum News 1 in Raleigh. Hey, Coach. Fullerton's a team that doesn't take a lot of threes, and they're making just over 5.
Oh, no.
They're making just
you haven't watched them. They're averaging 9 makes a game, and Milstead's shooting 60% from 3. But other than that, you're right.
I was through the last few games, Coach.
Yeah, I've watched 7 games of theirs, so I have a lot of respect. I'm sorry, just screwing around with you.
I'll rephrase the question then. With your size, obviously.
It's a good thing you don't have our scouting report.
I must have a different one here,
It's
Coach.
not Nolan behind you. All right,
No.
good.
With your size advantage, do you look to take advantage and get out with some of the shooters there as well as down low having that size advantage?
Well, have you seen Anisiki? I don't know how much size advantage we have. Look, they're a really good team. Coach Taylor's done a great job in developing a program there, and they're old. They're champs of the Big West, and they're deep. They're deep. But Milstead and Anisiki really make them go. Milstead's had a terrific end of season. And Anisiki's been the leading scorer in their conference and can play either the 4 or 5. And they look differently when he goes from one to the other. So they can give you a couple different looks. But they've been actually shooting the 3 well, and they come off the bench with Maddox knocking down 2 a game, Harris. Yeah, they're a good basketball team.
Right in the middle.
Casey Hintz from WREL in Raleigh. Coach, all 3 of your guys spoke about communication and the lack of it over the last few games. How is that something that goes back to just those poor habits, or kind of what have you seen change in that?
I think it's a good question, and communication to me is the most interesting thing in coaching. You know, your communication individually with a player, collectively with a team, and then the team with one another. And I think when you accomplish something and you're a little bit tired, especially guys, they get more inward. You know, they don't share as much. It's not a matter of attitude or whatever, but I thought towards right at the end of the season there, teams played really well. We played against really good teams. I didn't think we were fresh, and that's part of the thing this week is just to get them mentally fresh. It's not just physically fresh. Then a lot of emotion, you know, the thing with all my stuff, you know, it's over now, you know, but that's a lot for those kids.
David.
Mike, David Hale with ESPN. You alluded to these guys often don't understand one and done until it's actually done. In this case, one and done has a different meaning even more for you. Do you think it will take being done for that to sink in, or do you kind of go in with an understanding that this is one and done?
Mine will be 47 and done. So no, I'm just going to go for. That's what I've tried to do all season long, and when it's over, like even you do these interviews, not just yours. What are you going to miss? I don't miss anything yet. I'll answer that question when it's done, and if I miss it, and what I can give you a correct answer. So I just want to be in the moment. I'm excited. Look, this is a great time. I mean, and to see college basketball back at this level of stage again, with I'm really honored to be a part of it, and I think this is the 36th time. I never would have thought that my first couple years at Army or Duke, but it's worked out all right.
Next question behind you, too. You're next up after her. Go ahead. You're up.
I didn't understand that.
No,
either,
I was saying the person behind.
just-
I was trying to say that they were both asking questions. The person behind them is up after
No.
her.
Thank you. Lauren Walsh from WXII in Winston-Salem. Coach, you've had so many great tournament teams at Duke. What distinguishes this team?
We'll see what distinguishes it. You don't distinguish until you play. So the thing about the tournament is you have a regular season, and I think every team is judged. Teams can be judged by the regular season, but in our sport, we're really judged heavily by what we do in March. And so you have a chance to distinguish yourself individually and collectively. And so we'll see what happens.
Down low.
Hey, Coach. Brendan Marks from The Athletic. I wanted to follow up on Casey's question. In terms of the communication, how central is that to getting back to the defensive standards you guys have? Or is there something else that you identified this past week as well to get back there?
Well, and if there were 10 steps to get back to defense, communication would be the first 5. Because it's the lifeblood. No matter how hard you play individually, it's 5 playing as one. Communication is the lifeblood of a good defensive team, and it also produces an element of trust on the court. In other words, if I'm guarding the ball and I never hear anybody saying, "You're okay, you're good," then I might have a tendency to turn or not put as much pressure. But if I hear that voice, that reassures me, and I can take a step forward instead of maybe taking a step back. And if you can do that throughout a team, then all of a sudden your team is taking steps forward. So it's the single biggest, besides effort and attitude. So, communication, effort, attitude, throw them in, and if you got them, you got a chance.
Aaron?
Like, what has Jeremy Roach done well that's really given him and you guys a spark here down the stretch?
Well, he's had a really good year, but especially when Trev went out, he took over, and he puts the best pressure on the ball. So when we're looking at units this week in preparation for the tournament, we have to pressure the ball better. We have not done a good job, and that doesn't mean steal the ball. It means pressure the ball handler, and he can do that. And then he's been doing a good job of hitting his shot. And during that stretch when Trev was gone, he was having high assists and low turnover games, and we need to get back to that.
All right, we got some Zoom questions here.
All
right, Jason, you're up.
I don't see them, though.
No, you don't.
It's like the old Charlie's Angels, right?
Jason Jordan with Sports. Coach, I'm piggybacking off the last question with Jeremy Roach. I mean, obviously he's had an interesting last couple of years. Obviously the ACL injury in high school, right. Then COVID freshman year, and now he's started as a starter coming off the bench. What are your back channel conversations with him? Because like the last question, his emergence, especially over the last 4 to 6 games, has been amazing. Just talk about what your back channel conversations were with him, have been with him, and how important he's going to be in this run.
No, with Jeremy, you develop relationship with each one of your players. So, and in that relationship, it's not just the head coach, it's the entire staff. And you try to make sure that we can keep them as consistently high as possible, knowing it's a long season and they're young. And but Jeremy's been terrific. We believe in him, and for us to do well in this tournament, we're going to need Jeremy to do well.
All right, another Zoom question. Chuck, you're up.
Do you notice that Zoom questions are longer?
Yeah.
It's like nothing. I didn't mean to.
No,
insult,
you're good.
but just,
I only put him in here, Coach. So.
no, I only have 15 minutes.
Yeah, no. Good.
Gosh, I'm trying to cut out some words here. Chuck Culpepper
See?
from the Washington.
It's working, right?
Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post. Tomorrow you'll coach in your 128th NCAA tournament game, and I wonder what you remember from the experience of the very first, which happened in a faraway place.
Yeah, Johnny Dawkins got undercut, and there was no call in Pullman, Washington. So that was my first experience, and we lost a real close game. But you learn from being in the tournament, and hopefully the lessons you learn can help the team that you have the honor to coach at this moment.
All right, that was our final Zoom question. Final question in here, and we'll let Coach go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, it's working now. Okay, better.
Just.
Yeah, I know. David Thompson, USA Today Network. Wendell Moore said he felt, like a freshman coming into this with the excitement. Just you personally, how excited are you that he's getting this opportunity to play at the stage?
Yeah, it's first one. Because we had like a number of teams. We had a really good team with Trey and J. Rob and Vernon Carey, and we were hitting a great stride, and we're not able to play. So. That's what I mean. The newness, a Duke team has not had this newness because we've been, up until last year, we've been since the mid-'90s to every tournament. So, no, you feel that enthusiasm. It makes you more enthusiastic. Shared enthusiasm is huge, and if you're only giving as a coach or a coaching staff and not receiving, that's not good, or vice versa. And this whole week, and for really the year, I just think we had a little bit of a lull. But for this week, that's what's happened. I think we're all really excited to play, and hopefully it'll manifest itself into a really good performance.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. Yep. Just as a reminder, a recording of the press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub